Video log 5, the search for Candace Owens' perfect victim and why all opinions are not equal. Hey family, today we have more clarifying questions that lead to chalk outlines. Today's questions are, how was Candace Owens' search for the perfect victim going? And are all opinions equal? So, we already talked about how George Floyd's protests are not about George Floyd as much as they're about the larger problems with institutional racism. In summation, the police and police brutality are just the most visual representations of racism and institutional racism. This brings us to Candace Owens, who has stayed on brand with her pursuit of the perfect black victim, because if a black person is murdered or abused, they are either a current suspect, a previous suspect, or a future suspect, but not a victim. What she is saying is that black folks must be perfect human beings, near deities, in order for acknowledgement of the racism they've experienced. If black folks are not called the N-word, any other form of poor treatment, mistreatment, exclusion, abuse, or harassment is acceptable. With nearly all people that create unrealistic standards, she ensures those standards do not apply to her. She did not see herself as a future suspect when she had the NAACP fight on her behalf after harassment due to race. She did not see herself as a current suspect when the NAACP obtained a monetary settlement on her behalf. This standard didn't exist back then, but racism did. And now that she has created this standard, after she received her settlement, and after she leveraged generations of black plight, she instituted this standard. Clementa Pinckney, Cynthia Marie Graham Hurd, Susie Jackson, Ethel Lee Lance, DePayne Middleton Doctor, Twanza Sanders, Daniel L. Simmons, Sharonda Coleman Singleton, and Myra Thompson. These are the perfect victims. The Charleston Nine, murdered in their church by Dylan Roof after praying with him. Mostly elderly victims, but also middle-aged, and one was as young as 24. 6 were members of the Divine Nine, a black Greek collective organization devoted to public service and sustained college achievement. Today is an auspicious day, because today makes 5 years since they were murdered. Today will be like any other day for Candace Owens. She will ignore their deaths and continue her pursuit of the perfect black victim, because to her, these church-going prayer warriors were just previous suspects, current suspects, or future suspects. Perfect victims? I would say John Crawford III, Jonathan Farrell, Philando Castile, Tatiana Jefferson, Botham Jean. But honestly, if folks praying in a church whom were elderly or community workers are insufficient to be qualified as victims, there is no way Candace Owens will see these law-abiding citizens whom were shopping while black, getting their ID while black, being at home while black, or asking for help while black could be seen as victims by Miss Owens. Candace Owens states that George Floyd and other victims of police brutality and institutional racism are being held up as martyrs by the black community. Simply put, rhetorically, a martyr is someone who voluntarily dies for a cause or belief. George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, and all these others were martyred. Rhetorically, they were involuntarily killed for a cause. That cause is being black. Candace Owens, like the new iteration of the Hodge twins and Terrence Williams, have built their careers and brands on being antithetical, built careers based on eugenics. People that have built a career based on seeing every black person as some degree of a suspect. She is, they are, the institutional racism and the general racism black folks are fighting. Institutions have given her a platform and paid her well, and others well, to be the black face of white supremacy. This brings us to our second question. Are all opinions equal? We often hear folks confidently state how valid their opinion is, or how great the opinion is of some random person they send you a video or meme from. It might be worth me reissuing my disclaimer. The only reason I formally make these statements or video logs is because I have a bit more than an opinion to offer. I offer a baccalaureate degree in Africana Studies, a master's degree in public administration, 14 years of law enforcement experience at the local and federal levels, but most importantly, I provide thoughts that are in context and nuanced. When I don't have the expertise on a subject, I provide the sources for my information, but most importantly, I look for the opportunity to be educated. I accept the possibility that I could be wrong and look forward to the opportunity to learn. Often the best way to tell if someone is absent a well thought out or proficient opinion is they rarely provide context, a full understanding, and avoid nuanced conversation with experts in the field of discussion. This is how conspiracy theories start. We ignore qualified experts. This is why 116,000 plus Americans are dead from the coronavirus. This is why the income gap has grown, because we ignored experts who proved trickle-down economics doesn't work. Need a case study? See the state of Kansas's financial disaster under Governor Sam Brownback. The reason folks keep posting and terrorizing the Black community with Candace Owens and her friends' pursuit of the perfect victim is because of racism displayed through cognitive bias. America has found a few Black faces to say all the prejudicial beliefs folks have held about Black people for the last 401 years. Paying a Black person to publicly degrade Black people through half-truths, misleading information, and lies by omission does not make it any less racist. The American prejudice would lead you to believe that the 17 Black people or so who repeat your innermost racist thoughts over the other 42 million of us with our presentation of history and sociology. All opinions do not matter. However, I love you all. Peace and blessings. 06.